Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines for another C Designs Kids Edition. It's Pine Car Derby season around here, so I've got my daughters coming into the shop to help build their pine cars. Last year we did some pre-cut cars, but this year they wanted to get a block of wood and actually design and cut it themselves. First up we have Aubrey and her car. Now I gave her some pictures of some different types of cars that we could draw out on the block of wood. She chose one, I helped her draw it out on the block of wood, and now we're ready to cut it out to the shape that she is wanting. Now again, if there's any kids watching this, always make sure you have an adult with you at all times when you're using tools. I had shown Aubrey before we started where she needed to keep her fingers back from the sharp moving blades, so on and so forth. So always make sure your parents are with you before you start using any tools. We followed those lines close to it, not right on it, so that we could take it over to the sander and clean it all up and sand it right up to the lines, so that way it gave it a nice clean finish. Also, by not cutting right up to the line, that gives some room for shaping the car or shaping whatever project you're working on. This allowed us to have some wiggle room in shaping the car and just cleaning it up and getting those edges that we wanted. I don't know what you call this, but I'm going to call it a little stoop in the back that had a little spoiler also, and this is what she wanted. So I tried doing it with the belt sander here, but it wasn't working out, so I went over to the bandsaw, cut a little bit off, and then shaped it after getting the majority of the material off. After a quick smile at the camera, it was time to start sanding this car to its final smoothness. Kid sanders can be just as dangerous as tools with sharp blades. Sanders can send wood flying across the shop. That's why I use this rubber mat right here to kind of help hold that piece where it needs to be. Using the sander, we hit the edges too to get all the sharp edges off, plus make it a little more aerodynamic so that it'll run down the Pine Car Derby track very smoothly. Once it was complete, Aubrey took it into the house, painted it up, and we now have a pineapple. Well, good luck to you, Aubrey, and let's see how the pineapple does in the Derby. And then it was Emma's turn. She also had the opportunity to look at some cars on the internet, and she decided on a little bit different design than Aubrey's, but nevertheless, we drew the design on the block of wood, took it over to the bandsaw, and started cutting it out. I would say her design was more of a Camaro look to it, and I hope she enjoyed this car because that's as close as she's gonna get to a sports. Whoa, what's going on here? Apparently I needed my camera sanded down a little bit. All fun aside, we then took it over to the bench sander, and then just like Aubrey's, we began to shape it because we only cut close to the line. We didn't cut right up to the line that we had drawn on the block of wood. That way we could shape it. Hers had a lot more curves that we had to shape in it than Aubrey's. Aubrey's was a little more straightforward, straight lines, but Emma had a little bit more curves. I guess this is what I get for leaving the camera unattended, because I definitely didn't start this camera for this shot. We can thank Emma for this, as I was shaping up some of the areas on the car. She decided to start the camera. We then broke out the RotoZip to work on the fender flares of the car. She wanted to flare in just a little bit, giving a little bit of a sporty look to it. This is a great tool for giving your cars that nice detail. You can put different sizes of sanding wheels depending on what you're needing to do. Once we finished one side, we flipped it over. We did the exact same thing on the other side. We had to stop every now and then, kind of eyeball it to make sure that they were looking relatively equal. Then it was time to do some hand sanding. Every now and then you have to get out the good old sandpaper and do it by hand. Now here we're using the back end of a screwdriver, or the handle of a screwdriver, to get those rounded areas that we were wanting. And here's a close-up video of her using the handle of that screwdriver just to sand those rounded areas. If you didn't know anything about this, you could call this a tip or trick that you can maybe use on a project you're doing. Oh look, I set the camera down for just a few minutes to help her out, and now I'm getting videoed. Note to self, don't lay the camera down for any reason, or else then you get a nice face shot like this and give a weird thumbs up. That's okay. Anything to give people a good laugh. You gotta have fun in the shop, right, Emma? I'll take that as a yes. Then it was time to hit it with the Orbital sander with 220 grit sandpaper just to finish it up and give it that nice smooth finish. Haha! A little payback from earlier. As we finish up the shop time, we say our goodbyes. A little poke here in the nose from a distance. And here we see the car all finished, ready for paint. And what do we have here but a beach-themed car, all ready for the summer. Look out, here we come. Thanks for joining us for this kids edition of C Designs. Please like and share with your family and friends, and we'll see you on the next video.